Right in the midst of a crucial presidential election, a little bit of dysfunction inside the Democratic National Committee, and it's now breaking into the open. 2 of the 5 vice chairs of the DNC are now basically in open revolt against the current chair of the party, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. The internal acrimony first erupted when Vice Chair Tulsi Gabbard says she was disinvited to last Tuesday's Democratic debate after she issued a public call for more debates. It's a call, actually, she made on this show in particular. Well, now another vice chair is speaking out, R.T. Ryback. He is accusing the chair of the DNC, Wasserman Schultz, of making statements that are, quote, flat out not true, when she suggested that the party's officers were consulted about the debate schedule. Not only that, Ryback tells the New York Times that Wasserman Schultz has become a potential threat to the 2016 race. Quote, the Democratic National Committee staff has never been stronger. The one thing that could stop us from having a great election coming up is if the chair continues to create these self-made dramas that are below what a chair should be. Well, I'm joined now by the man who just said that quote, a DNC vice chair and former mayor of Minneapolis, R.T. Ryback. Mr. Mayor, thanks for coming on MTP Daily.
Thanks, Chuck.
You know, in that piece in the New York Times, the one thing you said that also caught my eye was that you regretted you waited this long to speak out. Why?
Well, this is part of a long pattern. You know, Chuck, for context, this is played out as Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Tulsi Gabbard, but it's really more about Ruth Bader Ginsburg and who's going to appoint her successor to the Supreme Court. We have to elect a president. The job of the DNC, the Democratic Party, is to help bring this big, huge tent together. And I think the current chair, I've seen, unfortunately, over many months, seems to be unable to bring this big tent together. And a lot of us have spent a lot of time trying to coach her through that. A lot has been going on behind the scenes. And frankly, I felt it was important to play this out now so that we can do what we can to hold that tent together, reach out to all parts so that we don't have this blow up, say, before the convention when we're trying to get people together or before the election.
Is this about debates, first and foremost?
Well, the current discussion is about debates, no question about it. There's a policy difference. The chair feels we should have. Several other of us feel that we should have more debates. Much of the party feels we should have more debates. What I think a chair should do is to hear that, and if she feels strongly that she is the right position, then open up the process, tell people why, explain that, but don't tell people that you've already got people like me and Tulsi Gabbard signed on, which you don't. Don't then call Tulsi Gabbard and I people telling untruths. You know, the fact of the matter is, what we really have to do is to bring people together. I've been in different campaigns, the Bradley campaign, the Dean campaign, the Obama campaign. When you have campaigns that start off as insurgent campaigns, you get a sense that everybody's against you, almost a paranoia. And it's essential for the Central Party to be able to say, hey, look, it's all going to be fair and equal. Now, we did that when the party met in Minneapolis and all the candidates got the same amount of time. And frankly, I don't believe the conspiracy theory that this is something about Hillary Clinton.
You don't? Do you think that you don't believe that that the chair of the DNC is doing the bidding quietly of the Clinton campaign, saying, "Hey, 6 is all we want"?
No, I don't. I think the chair and I have a straight-up policy disagreement. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I think, however, the way she arrived at it was to simply make this statement, ignore those of us who gave her good advice behind the scenes about how to bring people together, how to communicate that, how to try to give a little bit of ground to people who feel differently than her. And she has, I think, fairly recklessly ignored that advice and thrown a lot of gasoline on the fire. And
well, let me interrupt here a minute. Let me interrupt here a minute. Yeah. When you come, are you concerned that the excitement that's been generated around the Republican debates will lead to more excitement about Republicans and the lack of Democratic debates? Then, therefore, there's sort of a vacuum here for Democratic activists who feel as if, hey, they want their nights too.
I absolutely feel that. Let's face it, when Republicans and Democrats talk a lot, people will vote for Democrats. We've seen that with what the Republicans put on with their show and what the Democrats put on with a debate that was about grown-ups talking about big issues. We have the right candidates and the right issues. We are the substantive party with the right vision. All we have to do is get that message out. So no, I don't like sitting around hearing the other party talking about some crazy stuff that has no counter any more than I like a Vikings bye week. But the difference between those is that we're talking about the future of the country, and the Democrats haven't been on the screen. Now, you saw the other night, when Democrats get on the screen, we soar.
Do you think Debbie Wasserman Schultz should stay as chair of the party if this can't be resolved?
I have serious questions, and it's not just about the debates. The fact of the matter is, sometime in the month or two before the convention, somebody's going to win or lose. It's going to be essential for the leader of the party to be able to say to everyone, look, it's been fair, we need you now, let's all pull together. That's what Democrats want. I think the only thing that's going to mess that up, frankly, is that I don't think the chair right now is in the position to be that peacemaker who builds that big tent for all of us. And there are so many people who want this to happen.
Do you have an idea of who would be that person?
I don't have an idea of who that would be, that person, but I think right now we need to call that question, because we can't call that at that point. We have to go into this election with all of us being scrupulously neutral, being able to reach out to every side, because we got great candidates. And we, more important, have activists who need to be brought in.
Are you guys going to have is there an emergency meeting you could call? Is there a new DNC meeting you call where you could start airing this out?
Well, we have aired this out quite a bit, and we will continue to air it out. The people who run the DNC, Amy Dacey and her team, are wonderful people, and we will continue to stay in contact. The only reason I went public on this was after the chair went on television and repeated a knowing untruth about Tulsi Gabbard, who, one of our fellow co-chairs, who is a congresswoman from Hawaii, is a great leader of the party, and I'm not going to stand by and watch that. We shouldn't.
All right. R.T. Ryback, former mayor of Minneapolis and vice chair of the DNC. Thanks for coming on MTP Daily. And before I let this go, I should read, we reached out to the DNC for a statement, and it was Amy Dacey, who is the chief of staff of the DNC, and she writes this. Officers and members we've heard from since Tuesday night have been thrilled that we had a great debate. We're in regular communication with all of our campaigns and discuss any number of issues with members and officers, and while we are always striving to improve upon that, we have a diverse and talented group of vice chairs, and the party very much needs their voices moving forward. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Jack.